Right. Hopefully, we are live this time. Hopefully, after after the issues we have. And no, we're still behind the curtain.
Fair play to the three people who've been waiting for us to go live for 20 minutes and they've not even seen anything.
I know. Oh, that's the situation right there. I can't believe this is why I need to move away from this. So
YouTube notification. It says that we're live now.
okay, thank God for that. That's good. Evening, everyone. Apologies for the technical issues. We didn't expect to have them, but we hope we are live this time now. So yeah. So as I said, we was behind the scenes. Unfortunately, there was a mess up, but yeah. Well, let's start take 2 of this time. So, oh my God, I can't believe it's happened to us. But it's the Christmas period, but we are all here. So apologies to anyone who will partially to wait. But yeah. But let's just start all over again. I ain't gonna do the fixtures. But
Yeah, I was gonna say you're probably not gonna.
no,
Yeah,
no.
I was gonna say I think you take a lot of effort to go through the fixtures again. So let's just do a brief catch up. So we're all right. Had a good Christmas. Karl went through the fixtures. Reece is talking about how nobody at the minute can stop Hearts, but Hearts still need to spend in January. Celtic got consistently crap. Rangers aren't good enough. Edinburgh Derby coming up shortly, as well as Nottingham Forest, Man City. There you go. Brought up in about a space of 30 seconds.
Thank you, Michael. That's what we need. That is what we
I'll just mention. I'll piggyback off something that Reece did mention. I think for Hearts, it's going to be very, very interesting because I think they'd be insane not to invest in January because, as Reece said, when are Hearts going to get a better chance than this to try and win the SPL? And even if they win it, I think Karl was telling me apparently that when I went up to see Hearts versus Dundee, wasn't it? Nearly 2 months ago when I came up to, which is quite weird being in the Northeast and seeing somewhere I'm going up in the country rather than down. Because literally everywhere from the Northeast goes down. But I went up obviously to Hearts Dundee at the start of November, and I might make the effort to get to another Hearts game actually at some point this season. But if Karl be willing to want to go to one, I'm sure
I'm willing to go. So
I thought you would be. But But you did tell me think that even if Hearts win it just once, Jeremy McInnes would arguably go down as Hearts' greatest ever manager, which I think is a really good shout for that. And I think if you look at Celtic, I've just looked at the fixtures. So Celtic are away at Livingston later on today, of course. And then I've forgotten who Rangers are. I think is it Motherwell.
She's fine. She's fine now.
Right, okay. Good to know.
Yeah, they play Motherwell at Ibrox. Yeah.
Someone needs to do the drum roll effect. But yes, so and obviously you love derby games, don't you? Derby games are unless your team's playing in one, then you love a derby game. So, it's an incentive for Hibs to try and stop Hearts winning the league, but I think Hearts will obviously keeping the likes of Lawrence Shanklin was huge, and getting him to a new deal as well. That was also huge because I think he's under contract for another 2.5 years, I believe.
2.5 years, at least another 2.5, 3 years. Yes,
exactly. Yeah. I was going to say if you correct me if I was wrong. So yeah, no, but it's going to be I'm fascinated to see how Hearts approach January because I don't know what you guys might know this better than how does the SPL work in terms of PSR. Or how is it the similar structure to the clubs in English leagues, or is there a different circumstances there? How does it work, or is there something different entirely?
It's kind of similar. Like the only problem is, and this is kind of where it goes in their favor. There's sort of like less financial scrutiny in the SPFL compared to the English leagues. Because of the financial money generation. So, like...
The SPL doesn't get anywhere near as much money in terms of broadcaster income, you mean?
Basically, and it's because of morons like Neil Doncaster. Like that walking terrorist is up there with the likes of Donald Trump for absolute carnage. So, like... Honestly,
it's like Karl's face. He is like, Reece, don't get too political.
No, I actually agree with him. He had to. I can, yeah.
Go on then.
we can say this respect. Bombing Nigeria is wrong, but punching Neil Doncaster in the face is correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just keen to know what the.
But it's more or less because of people might say this is genius, but it's actually not. It just shows how bad it is for the money financially spread down the league. He negotiated such a bad deal with Sky Sports that the X amount of games that we get on TV, if you actually look at it, about 25 to 30% of the Scottish games that are supposed to be on TV aren't even broadcasted.
Exactly, yeah.
And they're actually deliberately not put on TV. I think Rangers, not Rangers, Rangers and Celtic do have like the most on TV, but we're supposed to have, I think, 65 games broadcast on Sky Sports. I think the season before that we had about 46 games.
It was 46 last season, yeah.
So it's 19 games missing, but that's still 19 games where teams aren't getting a chance to even be watched. Like, the Edinburgh Derby won't be on TV. Like, so it won't be on Sky Sports. People will think that that's, but they don't do anything. It's the second biggest derby in Scotland. It should be on Sky Sports.
I think it is on, no,
I
it's
could
not
be
Sky
wrong, but I'm
Sports.
pretty sure it is on Sky Sports.
It is, yeah.
It's on Sky Sports. It wasn't on last year.
No, it wasn't. Not last
Yeah,
year.
that's criminal. That like,
But like, that's my problem. I've like, when you look at other broadcasts, this might come across as anti-English in a way, and it's not. But like, when you look at channels like BBC Scotland or STV or Channel 4, or even like on the BBC iPlayer, why are they not putting those games on there as well? Like, we can still watch it, but instead it's, oh, you know what? When it comes to the World Cup, BBC Scotland, let's watch fucking England.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if ITV won't even do that for a Scotland game, so why should it be like that? It's like, it's our national league, it should be allowed to be on TV, and I think it's a fact that it's not. It's a disgrace. And no wonder TNT's lost all the rights to so many sports when they don't put them on TV as well. Like, they deserve it. It's their own
Listen,
fault.
that TNT is going to get incorporated, is going to get sucked in by Netflix and
Paramount and all that,
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen, because it looks like now Netflix are going to get the international part of TNT, which means that what they're going to do, they're screwed. And that's what the problem is we have, Michael. Ever since when, I think it was back 20 plus years ago, the SPFL at the time tried to do its own in-house TV channel, and that did not work. It's like the days when they were trying to do what it is now today.
Satanic Sports. You know what's weird? That's coming back as well as a channel next year. Officially. Like, officially next year, Satanic Sports returns to TV.
Yeah.
But like, those were the good days. Like, every weekend, you could literally sit at home. If you didn't want to watch the Premier League, to be fair, mid-2000s Premier League, before it really kicked on, the Premier League, you were only watching it for 4 teams. Let's be real. Like, no disrespect to Michael as a Sunderland fan, but in say 2005.
No, you're right. I think it would have been the elite teams people would have watched. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're only watching for Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea as it was, and maybe the occasional Newcastle game. Unfortunately, because they actually were a much more interesting team because they weren't sellouts back then. But like, you actually, and even the likes of Everton, Fulham, they were decent to watch in that period. Manchester City actually were. People are going to argue with me on that, but they can't. Middlesbrough as well. But like, you watched it for the 4 big ones. But like, Satanic Sports, you had Rangers versus Celtic. You had St Mirren when they got into the Scottish the Scottish Premiership, or the SPFL as it was back then. Kilmarnock versus Hearts. Gretna in 2008. Everybody was watching them until they went bust. And then Satanic Sports just faded, and you're like, oh, great. And then that was it. Scottish football, you'd be lucky at that point to watch a game at that point. And people love to rub it in our face about our league, but I was like, well, we had a TV broadcasting channel and then it vanished.
Yeah.
So you can't blame Scottish football for that. That's not our fault. Like, fans were watching it on a regular basis. Like, I used to watch Satanic Sports every weekend. Me, my dad, my mum, we would sit there and watch every single Saturday. Rangers, good days of like Rangers and Dundee United against each other, for example, when that was a weird combination of games. But that was football. You watched it and it was fun. But like, there's so many channels out there. Why can't they broadcast these games? What is so, like, you look at like here's a fair example. What, like, Sky Sports is not the Sydney Sweeney of football broadcasting or sports broadcasting. Anyone else is the Sydney Sweeney. So why are they so obsessed with Sky Sports? There's other broadcasting companies out there that'd be like, you know, we'd love to have football on. It generates audiences. It generates money.
Yeah.
So why not do it? I don't get it.
No, neither do I. And then this is the fourth thing that's happened the last couple of days. I'm hearing that the EFL and Premier League are discussing at the moment to end the 3 p.m. blackout.
The 3 p.m. blackout, isn't it?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised now the Scottish football following that footsteps are going into that now, thinking maybe we have to now, but if so there's a chance now that it realizes that with whatever the rights deal, not just in England but across Scotland as well, they're going to have to make a decision. Thinking, do we now get more TV companies, to show more games? That's the question that they need to do.
The only thing I would like from this, if you are doing this, then you need to put a widespread government, like, I know this sounds weird, but like the government, the SFA, like your football federations, they have to go and physically declare to you, either on social media or on a news bulletin, these are the televised channel, like these are the channels you watch, and these are, if you want to watch them, here's the broadcast. Instead of just having to go through like your information, you want to watch, say, Manchester United versus, say, Sunderland. Okay, it's on Sky Sports 1. Okay, cool. You want to watch Hearts versus Livingston. It's on BBC 2. Like, they need to properly come out and broadcast where it's going to be, because if it's not, you're not getting it. And this is why people are on a certain device these days.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
And people that like police and all that, they're sending folk after these people, they're doing nothing wrong. They're actually doing what these TV broadcasts should be doing for less the money. You should be scamming people for TV rights to watch your TV. It should only be one subscription a year or whatever you pay. You shouldn't be paying more than that. No wonder people are going onto a Fire Stick or whatever to watch their football team, because you're deliberately blocking them out. You shouldn't be blocking football fans from watching their team. Like, it's
True.
like it's pathetic. Like, and I feel like if you're denying a fan a right, that's why the 3 p.m. blackouts is intimidating as well, because all those teams are all of a sudden going to be on TV. But which clubs are going to fall out and lose on that? That's the problem.
Yeah, and I think the problem is, when I was watching something the other day, and it was on YouTube. I watched a football variety thing. I looked at why clubs in the EFL really struggled after when their ITV Sport collapsed so badly, and especially at the times when they brought on on digital, and then became ITV Digital, and then now it became Freeview and stuff. The problem was, it was just like the Scottish clubs tried to especially in the early 2000s, after they had to reorganize the league again after everything. It's not worked as it is, and and the problem is, like what Reece said about Neil Doncaster. His visualization does it fit to what the Scottish football should be, in a way. And I think the problem is, that's why they had to sell extra 20 games to Premier Sports. But the problem was, Rangers and Celtic was like, no, we're not going to, don't put us in those games, especially home, because we're not happy, because they prefer Sky Sports to Premier Sports. And that has been the issue. The issue was like, what do you expect from them? If you guys, the two biggest teams in Scottish football, what do you want? Do you want your own channels then? Because that's what it sounds like. You don't want to get involved. So it is an issue that has been lingering for over 20 plus years.
And it used to be that as well, because people used to watch Rangers TV on as a Sky channel, like Celtic TV, Manchester United TV, Liverpool TV. They were on Sky Sports. They're not or they were on like a Sky thing. They're not there anymore.
Well, two of them still are, which is Man United and Liverpool.
Yeah, but if you want to watch them, you watch them online. But people prefer that because you avoid the stupid TV punditry unless you get somebody decent, and you're only paying direct for what you want to watch, and it's right there and then. I watch Rangers TV now and then. It's good for the documentaries and stuff. But the only good thing about watching the matches is Clive Tildesley. Like that's the underlying factor. That's the only good thing about Rangers TV is Clive Tildesley.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, with Hibs TV, for example, they got Dave Tanner, and I know that for a fact. That's why it's such the issue. That's why they get the extra revenue from the overseas, Michael, especially on their own channels across the world. And I think this is why the SPFL have had issues of because the BBC's done a good job with the Scottish Championship, which is what we needed. I wish they could show the other low league teams that play quality football, like Spartans, East Kilbride, and all the other teams. They should be better quality, and they don't show that at all.
No, they don't.
No. Well, this is the problem. I think a lot of broadcasting companies, it's just pretty much all about, what can generate the most amount of revenue these days, as opposed to delivering a good product necessarily. But you are right. I mean, the thing that, there are people who would lap this stuff up. There are people who would absolutely have that. There's passionate. I mean, football evokes a sort of a passion, really, among a lot of fans that are desperate to watch their teams play. And I think, obviously, you can talk about the merits of getting rid of the 3 p.m. blackout and everything else, about how many people wouldn't go to games, for example, as opposed to sitting and watching on the sofa. But either way, streams would still generate quite a bit of money. So I think on another note, really, it says a lot about how even the Scottish Premiership, with the amount of games that are on TV, I'd be really interested to know how much TV money, say the Old Firm, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at next Saturday. That's probably, for me, one of the biggest fixtures in football. Like, Celtic Rangers is massive.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I bet you in the Championship, a team like Wrexham Sheffield United yesterday, generally wouldn't surprise me if that generated more, just because of the separate TV deals with each individual league.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine Wrexham Sheffield United generating more than Celtic Rangers?
No.
The weird thing is, it is possible.
Yeah, I agree. It's possible, but
it shouldn't be. But you know what? Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. It's a nuts concept when you stop and think about it. It really is.
Mm-hmm. But we all know, in the sense of it, they might generate more revenue, but we know exactly which one generates much more TV viewership. Exactly. That's the other thing as well. Is which one generates the most viewership versus the most revenue. When both of them should be hand in hand. Like that's the weak side to TV as well.
Yeah.
Something there as well you mentioned about, and I put in the chat as well, because you mentioned Premier Sports. That is the biggest scam subscription you can get your hands on. I actively encourage people not to use Premier Sports. Like, I encourage it. Don't use it. I signed up for it last year to watch the Scotland games.
Yeah.
No, it was Scotland games for the Euros 2024. There was Euros for anyway. It was horrible. If you sign up to Premier Sports, no, it was before that, actually. Let me just check when it was, because I had a rant at Doug about this. Doug might remember. I think it was a couple of years ago though. I signed up for Premier Sports on my laptop before I went for the dodgy Fire Stick, and you cannot cancel a Premier Sports subscription until you've completed one full calendar year of service.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I'm one of them at the moment, because I only watch because of the league and stuff, and that's only it.
Yeah, but I tried to cancel it. That was it. I signed up for the fucking. It was the Rangers Celtic Cup final.
Yeah,
that was it. It was the Rangers Celtic Cup.
I remember this now. Yeah, I remember that now.
And you could not, honestly. If you sign up for Premier Sports, you cannot. You can do a free trial, but the minute that's over,
you can't cancel it.
You can't cancel it. You've got to go a full year of paying for that, like £7 a month or whatever it is. It's a joke. And now TV, you can cancel it after a month if you don't like it. Why do you have to do a full year with Premier Sports?
Yeah,
like I don't get that. As a subscriber, as a consumer, it's well within my right to say I want to cancel. I actually emailed them once saying, "Look, I only signed up for this. I'm happy to pay the month. I've done the month. I only wanted to watch this to watch a couple of games of football, and then I don't want to use the service." No. They go back to me. No, we're sorry. You signed up to our service. You've got to complete the 1 year. I was like,
excuse effectively, me? It means you're stuck having to pay £84 for the year.
Basically, they are the. I don't do it now because I refuse to go near Premier Sports again unless I'm on Fire Stick. But I absolutely
responsibly, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. But I will never pay for that sort of thing again, because that is even BT Ultimate's just as bad.
But that's another thing, though. So if it was £84 for subscribe to the year for Premier Sports, then. But if you're looking at it like that, a Fire Stick a year would cost probably half of that.
£40 just to buy it.
There you go, under half of that. and you get so many more. And although it sounds like we're endorsing illegal streaming, but at the end of the day,
I am.
But they've brought it on themselves, haven't they?
Yeah.
Okay, that was quite funny. But they brought it on themselves, haven't they? For half the price, you can get so many more options, so many more of it. I mean, as Liz Golden's just said, yeah, that's the problem. You always have to read the fine print, don't you? Like that's
exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly how they get you. Exactly how they get you.
The funny thing is, and this is the sad part, see if you actually look at the time for Premier Sports, it wasn't listed on the fine print.
No.
It said cancel any time.
Time. This is what I've got. I'm on how you pay as you go, where I can cancel any time.
In which case, that is a scam then.
But then you go and cancel it, you need to wait one full year. And I was like, come on. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
But you know what happens though? They'll say, "Oh, by the way, if you don't cancel within this certain time period, you're stuck for the whole year."
Like,
why is nobody signing up to our service?
There's a reason why, because of when it was Satanta Sports and it got good, and then it came back as MSK Extra, then Premier Sports, then it got sold to Viaplay when they thought, we're going to go big. Then they went back to bloody Premier Sports, and like Reece said, it's going to go back to Satanta Sports. So it just says it all completely of how much the quality is. It's like what's happening with what's going on with TNT, especially with BT, and BT was losing a lot of money, for example. And I remember it was some couple of years ago. It was way before Michael. NTL was going to sign on a big contract with of subscribing to broadcast some Premier League games until Sky had to bring their own Prem Plus shit as well. And that's what the issue is at the moment of of them trying with every single thing to try to put bit of the same more behind the paywall. And I think it was I think the Prem Plus was like £7-8 per game, and no one didn't bother until the commission said this is not working. You have to.
Do you remember the state a few years ago when Sky Sports did the Sky Sports box office nonsense?
Yeah.
By the way, oh no, I can't remember what Sky Sports, or it might have been BT Sport at the time.
It was both.
Oh yeah, both. Well, there you go. So it was like, okay, by the way, we know you're in lockdown, we know you're going to be strapped for money, but come and watch Sheffield United versus Fulham for £14.99.
Horrific.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I only used to use Sky Sports box office for one other purpose,
which was boxing. That was the only thing, and WWE as well.
Back in the good days of the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that was getting blocked for me.
Mid 2000s.
I never contributed towards it. I just had it paid for me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, your YouTube revenue paid for that.
I wish.
I know.
But it's disgusting that's TV. You know what's interesting? I mean, I actually have a weird take. And it's a good thing Doug's in the chat as well, because I wonder, now that a certain person has left his high-ranking job at Celtic, could we see influence on Doncaster and the SFA change when it comes to important matters? Because a certain person has been tying that shit down for a long time. A certain Peter Lawwell.
Yeah.
Or scumbag, as I call him.
That could change. I think it can change after he's gone, because I think that was the stumbling block. That I think Rangers with the new ownership will now be more like, no, we agree, we understand what you're trying to do. Before then, they were like, no, we're not going to do this. Especially with the cinch deal, they're like, we're not having that at our grounds because I think there's now a changing between of both of those balls at the club, and I think it will happen to Celtic sooner. I think they'll be like, you know what? If we need to grow the game, we need to be part of this.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting if they use They should use the influence of the big two to try and influence a much more effective TV deal. There's no way that the influence of Rangers and Celtic can't do something like that. Like, they're big enough to do it. And we've seen it happen where clubs can influence the TV rights to it, like some for the better, some for the worse. I mean, PSG, not their fault, but they did contribute to the loss of a TV deal in France. But look at it now. The TV rights in France is actually strong now from what they've got.
because they're now gone in an in-house model themselves in a way.
And it's brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
Serie A is comfortably finding its feet again. Like, La Liga's got its own spot.
Yeah, and I think I
that.
I think like the Bundesliga will go down that way. And I think the problem was the one thing was DAZN had to cut the rights with the Belgian Pro League as well. Just recently, it was does the Pro League go in their own way as well? So the question is, when the Premier League does go that way, and it eventually will do, what is going to be? What is it more going to be looking at the global rights where every team? Because like I said, we know what Sky and NBC own are the same companies, and they do quite well.
Yeah,
coverage in the US quite well with
Mhm.
NBC. What happens now? Do they go now? Because I have to say, and for me, watching Formula One, I feel like in the US now that it's gone to Apple TV, that's going to be a disaster. When ESPN did a good job using Sky in-house.
They'll struggle.
Yeah.
I think this is what I really like about the US model. Like, some elements of the US model, you've got like CBS Sports, you've got NBC, you've got Peacock, Paramount as well. Like, all of those bridges. You've got Fox Sports as well. They all let you watch whatever you want to watch, whether it be the Serie A or MLS or La Liga, the Premier League, the Bundesliga. You can watch any of that in America on their specific sports model that they have. If we had that in the UK, nobody would need to worry about missing their own sports, their own TV. Like, if Amazon hadn't been so far behind in terms of broadcasting a football match, which is weird enough in itself, if they were able to broadcast it when a match actually kicks off, these streaming platforms people would be jumping all over the gun for streaming sports. They'd be like, all right, cool, we don't need Sky Sports anymore, I'll just watch on Amazon.
Yeah.
The problem is, oh yeah, game kicked off 5 minutes later. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, Patrick Dorgu scored for Manchester United, just as an example. The game just kicked off. He scored 5 minutes ago. Oh, fuck off. But like, if they were on time, the amount of money they've got, if they could do all that, the likes of Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Paramount Plus, if all of them had just the sports on TV you can just watch, all those other sports companies like broadcasting would have to step up huge. It won't be long before streaming platforms dominate anyway, where they take everything. And when they do, as long as they can keep themselves in time check and it's on time, they won't be touched.
Yeah.
Like, Amazon will run away with it. And if anyone doesn't think that, you're either deluded or you're blind. Because unfortunately, streaming is the way to go.
And it will be. And I think this is why Sky are tried to move away, with the multi-view, or tried it, but the problem is, and I think we've seen that as well just recently with the upcoming Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. BBC are not hosted; they're not going to be the TV host. It's gone to TNT Sports, which pissed off a lot of people, thinking, "How the hell did let this happen? This slip?" But like,
It's
well,
their own fault.
It's their own fault because no one's not interested in that. So it's like Chris said, it'll be DAZN, Amazon, and Netflix will be the kingmakers taking on, and even like I said, so that's
Paramount. Honestly, mark my words. Watch Paramount Plus in the next 2 years
because of the Champions League that will be on there. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And I think the hardest one is. I agree with that as well, Liz. That's a great comment. The only thing about Netflix that bothers me, and we've seen it happen a few times, is how quickly their streaming service comes down when so many people watch it at once.
Yeah, there was complaints about that in the NFL Christmas Day when I
saw that.
I had no issues, so I was fine watching it. But I know historically they have had issues with that. Same with all the other stuff when they try to go live. It has been, even when Netflix don't want to take all the spots. I'm like, no, you do. You kind of you want to. You just don't want to say. You just don't want to say the quiet part loud. But we all know what you want to do.
Oh, Doug, we can prop our Steam game, mate.
Yes, exactly. I know. I'm glad. Aye, which is a good thing. And Doug, I'm not going to the game tomorrow at City. I put myself on the ballot. I was unsuccessful, and that's the same thing as I can't go to the Newcastle game. I was
thinking you were going to be quite fortunate to be able to get one. Unfortunately.
When are you coming back up here, Bowers? Because we've not had a chance to properly meet yet. You've dogged me twice.
Yeah, I know. We want to do that because we need to talk to them.
Well, funny enough, I was looking at the SPL fixtures because obviously it's got to be tied into when I'm able to come down and come up, and as opposed to when we're not playing. So I was looking at I was looking potentially at the 31st of January, but I've got a feeling that might not be quite so feasible because I had been thinking if we'd met them, we could have gone to the Livingston Motherwell game because I believe Livingston is Doug's Scottish team. I think.
Yes,
My home,
yeah,
just down the road for me as well.
it's down the road from Reece as well, actually.
Well,
Yes.
hold the thought. Then I will come back to that. Maybe depending on what.
To be fair, we did go to the Liverpool. That's how we all first met. We went to Livingston Motherwell.
That last game was against Motherwell, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah.
Oh, we were ready to spark a fight with somebody who watches this channel now and again. But we were ready to generally start a fight with a Motherwell fan.
There was that something. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, and it was.
I'll not bother asking.
It was like 2-2 draw. Yeah,
it was like the last day before the postseason split. So me and Doug, we drove to Livingston to meet up with Reece, and then all of a sudden I think they were 2-0. Was Livingston 2-0 up, weren't they? Until Motherwell scored, and then the Motherwell fans jumped on the pitch and broke the hoardings down. I'm like, bloody hell, okay.
To be fair, like the whole thing would have been a much better day if that idiot security guard hadn't taken my bottle of Pepsi Max.
Exactly, I remember that now.
A sealed bottle of Pepsi Max, and he's like, "Oh, I've got to take it in case you've got alcohol." And I was like, "Do I look like I drink alcohol?"
Exactly.
Bear in mind, we're 4 days away. We're 4 and a bit days away from New Year. When it gets to New Year, that's me went. Just make sure it's 365 days. I've gone nearly 2 full years straight without any alcohol, and you're trying to tell me I drink. What an absolute bastard.
Yeah, I know. I remember
taking Pepsi Max.
Hang on a second. Yeah, exactly. So the first could be doable. It depends on my work schedule because I get my roof because I'm off after next week because I'm on annual leave after New Year. So that's probably
it's not really annual leave for you, is it? Because you've no long joined the place.
It's only been listen, I've been there for nearly 3 months, right? I've been coming up to 3 months this month, so technically, in a way, I've still got a lot to do. But yeah, I needed to take annual leave because it has been so quite a little bit. Even though I work 3 days a week, right?
Here's one you could do. To be fair, if I did come up on the 31st of January, you could go Livingston versus Motherwell. Like go to that game, and then go and find a pub and watch Dundee United versus Hearts.
Oh, that'd be easy. Yeah,
there you go. There is literally a pub like 15 minutes from the centre, like from the stadium that we could go to.
It just means I'd have to get the last possible train back to Newcastle, but we can go back to Saudi Arabia, I should say.
Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Oh, Doug's going to Hearts Levy next Saturday.
I tried to get tickets, and I'm working on that day. I was looking to see if they were there, but I'm working on that day.
I was going to say, am I free? I mean, I'm not working on the second because I refuse to work the second anyway. Like I don't work the second. I don't work the second anymore. I have to go stranded in Edinburgh one night when I worked at Amazon. I slept the whole weekend at a colleague's for the entire weekend. I was like, "Fuck this shit! I'm never going back." I'm never going back to January 2nd. But like, I've got a week off on the 12th of January because my family are away. Well, my mum and dad are away Thailand in the 12th of January, so I've got that whole week and a bit. So I'm like, maybe I
had debated on the 10th, but obviously we've got Everton in the FA Cup. So basically, I'm going to Brentford. Not this next week, but the week afterwards. Going to Brentford staying in London for a couple of nights, then coming back on the Friday, and then going back on the train the next day to Merseyside for Everton in the FA Cup. So
I've just got a week of watch-alongs that week for me. To be fair, with my family, fuck off. I'm just going to be doing watch-alongs.
Love it. Love
it. That's my late nights in peace and quiet. Yeah. I'm upgrading my monitors as well. I'm getting two monitors in the new year, which I'm looking forward to.
I mean, there was one on what was it? Well, March 22nd. I was looking at that date. Sorry, 23rd. Oh, Hearts versus Dundee. There you go, Karl. Hearts versus Dundee round 2. So, watch it again.
Yeah, I would do that again after we did,
I'll go and then, you obviously saw me mate, John, who...
your friend, John.
So it's like, well, okay, we've got Hearts versus Dundee. Hearts win 4-0. So, maybe we'll try that again at some point. And obviously it depends on the split, doesn't it? So when the split happens, then...
Well, the split
is end of March. It's March time.
Yeah, after the 11th of April, that's the last games.
Oh, great. So, Oh, great. So, like, the split's the day before my 29th birthday. No wonder my prime's over.
Oh god.
But obviously he's not here today. But folks, can we not send well wishes to Stefan today because he is a Hibs fan?
Well, he's just messaged me on the WhatsApp to me. He said he's just told me he's at the game. He says, "What an atmosphere!" from what he's been telling us. So yeah,
Text up. Just send him one response back. Just say Reece says 2-0 Hearts.
right. I will say that. Yeah.
See what he says.
I'll see you respond.
Yeah, and then Stefan responds saying, "I fucking hate Reece right now."
Oh,
I mean, he
when
will
Hearts
be.
go like 2-0 up in the first 5 minutes, we go, I hate it when Reece is right.
I mean, he will be breaking it because I did tell him exactly when he first came on here. I told him Hearts would win 1-0. It would be a late winner, and he's like, no.
He did. He did that to me. He said that to me before we came on here when I spoke to him on over the phone. He said he'd rather have a one-on-one draw. He would take that. So
yep.
Nothing brings out nerves like Derby Day, eh? Karl will probably be feeling like this next Sunday. Leeds Man United.
I'm looking at Chris's messages in the chat, and he's actually leaving some dope comments about DAZN and all that. But that comment about Rob Edwards,
Karl is
I know.
Rob Edwards.
I'm not
No wonder
related.
he has Edwards in his name. Just message.
let me just say this here. I ain't related to his ass. Okay, let's just get that one out of the way before anyone makes any stories about that one. So
But if Karl's doing a Rob Edwards, what were you doing in a small town in Yorkshire? Borough.
listen. You know those comments that came on for the championship a couple weeks ago, Michael, about you when people now say it's buried. You know when you said it's buried in the northeast. There's two people I need to respond to. I need to say, yeah, Michael knows that. He knows that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the journalists up here do view Borough as the northeast, so that's why it would be quite interesting if they got promoted. They'd probably go straight back down, but it would be interesting if they did come up. So
I think the interesting question is if Borough do get promoted, who do they beat first, Sunderland or Newcastle?
Sunderland's more closer to the
probably more up the game against us.
They're more closer to you than Newcastle. So
I know Reece was trying for a bite, so I'm just deliberately not responding to it.
I know you're not responding. That's why I responded
Reece,
to you.
I have jibes from Newcastle fans regularly. I am used to this.
But the difference is though, is like when they do it, there's something that just doesn't feel right. When I do it, it feels good.
You can tell yourself that all you want, mate. You never know. Maybe Middlesbrough versus Manchester United at the start of next season at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 2, Man United 1.
I mean,
if that happens, I'll come back to Reece and I'll just go, so you know what you were saying, mate?
I mean, to be fair, I can say this with comfort. It wouldn't surprise me if that result happened.
Well, you never know. We'll see if it's we'll see who ends up making up the top two. It'd be quite nice to see a non-parachute top two for once. And not have someone
I mean, there's so much possibilities. Borough could get promoted. They could beat any one of our clubs. Steve Clark could end up at Leeds.
Shut up again with the Steve Clark joke.
God.
I think that joke's done now, especially how Farker's got himself out of jail.
All right, I got
was going to
one
say, what
for you.
about Jesse Marsh going back?
Oh god.
I was like, oh god.
Here's the test.
Canada can keep him. Canada can keep him now. So
Karl, I'll tell you what. If it makes you feel any better, I've got the following words, and you'll feel better instantly: Simon Grayson, Chris Coleman, Jack Ross, Phil Parkinson, Lee Johnson. Any one of them.
Michael
Shite,
Beale,
shite, crap.
who's now linked up going to Oxford. Jesus, yeah.
Here's one for you, Karl.
Go on.
Leeds are in a Champions League final, which hasn't happened since 1975. When you lost to Bayern.
Controversially cheating bastards. That those grew up there.
It was definitely a fair win for.
Go on then. What's this conundrum? What is this?
So here's the question. Leeds are in a Champions League final. Club doesn't matter. Liverpool. Just for pain relief.
You just said Liverpool, you just coughed there, yeah.
Yeah, for pain relief.
Yeah.
So he's in a Champions League final against Liverpool, and the only way you can win is with one of these two managers in charge, and you've got to pick one. You can't say no.
Fuck off.
Steve Clark.
Oh god.
So that's one. This is the pain. This is not even the painful one.
Yeah, what's the painful one?
Neil Lennon.
Oh no, hell no.
See, he's making a walk off. No.
You have to pick to win the Champions League final.
Fucking hell.
Steve
dirty
Clark or Neil Lennon.
You dirty bastards.
You know what's even worse? It's the Scotland manager he doesn't like. It's the former Hibs and Celtic manager that he doesn't like.
Can anyone help me? Anyone in the chat can help me with this one? Because I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Well, it gets worse. It gets worse because I'm going to throw the same question to the likes of Liz, Chris, and Doug.
Oh my god.
So you've got either Steve Clark or Neil Lennon.
Ugh. Kill me now.
You want me to pick for you so you don't have to?
Liverpool have got. Oh God Almighty!
Brendan Rodgers?
No, Mikel Arteta.
Ooh.
Are these all people Karl just absolutely hates with a passion now?
No. This is the Liverpool.
This is
choice,
the Liverpool one.
I know, but I'm saying Liverpool got managers that Karl doesn't like.
No, but it's Mikel Arteta, former Everton, so that's for Doug. For Doug's, yeah.
Oh, right, I'm with you. Okay, yeah.
Doug, Chris, and Liz.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the best part. So Karl's got Steve Clark or Neil Lennon. The Liverpool fans have got Mikel Arteta.
Don't get yourself on, mate. Get yourself on and answer this.
I'm trying to compose myself before I.
You better say it right now, because you better get this one out of the way. Just tell me.
So it's Mikel Arteta.
He's struggling to compose himself.
Fucking say it.
Sam Allardyce.
Oh.
Hey, no dissing Sam Allardyce.
Oh God.
And that's to win the Champions League final.
Gee, yeah, even now Chris is now. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
Actually, I take that back. Is Mikel Arteta or Scott Brown?
Actually, very quick for Chris on another note, because I've remembered he's got Carlisle and Liverpool in his badge. I watched Carlisle's win against Gateshead yesterday. Went to watch it, so it was actually pretty good. Former Sunderland man Elliot Embleton scored. That was quite nice.
You put me on the spot there, Reece. With the...
Now go on, Karl. You got to pick an answer.
And remember, this is to win the Champions League final.
I don't give a fuck about that. That's the least of my fucking worries.
It's only one match.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's a one-off.
Yeah, but if it's fucking two managers, I don't.
This is the job.
It's to win the Champions League, mate.
I don't listen.
They win the trophy.
The biggest trophy in domestic football, and you don't care.
Listen here.
It's a one-night contract. They're signed to win the Champions League. After that, they're gone.
Yeah, whatever if they fucking win it, they stay up for another 3 years.
No. It's just you win it and then that's it. They're gone. It's a one-night only appearance.
God, God's sake.
This is sounding worse and worse of all reasons.
Because him doing the feedback jokes over me for the last few weeks.
It's like
since for a while, I've not thought about it since then.
You get Steve Clark or Neil Lennon one night only, like the Undertaker at WrestleMania. That's all you're getting, basically.
Jesus Christ!
And they've got freaking Scott Brown or Mikel Arteta.
All right, then let's flip the question. Ask Reece this then.
Come at me. I'm an honest man.
I don't know if this is any good. Reece might answer this quickly, and I might look like shit.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, see if it's a chance for Rangers. Okay, let's say Rangers and Celtic meet in the Europa League final.
No. Give him one better. What if Rangers and Manchester United meet in the final? Because he supports both of them.
Well, no, actually, Rangers. I promise you, this is relevant. Rangers. Let's say Rangers. Okay, let's pretend for a second. Rangers Celtic Champions League final then.
All right.
And you have to pick one of these two former Rangers head coaches to lead you in that game to potentially win it. The first option is Michael Beale, and the second option is Russell Martin.
Michael Beale.
Jesus Christ! I told you he was going to choose that.
Yeah,
give him a different. No, I would have said Paul Le Guin or Russell Martin.
Paul Le Guin.
Yeah, see, exactly.
Russell Martin or Russell Martin?
1-0 Hibs.
Yeah.
Any other choice? No. It's just Arteta or Brown. You've got to choose. Doug's actually said that Hibs have scored.
Friggin' hell.
Or is that his prediction?
That's his prediction. Because they're not scored yet. It's still. It's
not even kicked off yet, has it?
Is it because you're watching the stream that's like?
No, it is 1-0. Yeah,
it is 1-0. Lol.
Okay. God.
I mean, I did say 2-0 to be kind.
Yeah. Okay. Arteta. See, Chris is saying any other choice. No, Chris, you can't. I'm stuck with it.
It was right in the middle of the box. To be fair, like,
All right.
center of the box,
Okay.
finished by McGrath.
I've made my decision. Okay. I've made my decision.
So let me just present the question again to everyone in the audience, and the same for the Liverpool fans. You've got a chance to win the Champions League final. It's Leeds versus Liverpool. The Liverpool fans have Scott Brown or Mikel Arteta for one night only to potentially win the trophy, and Leeds have Neil Lennon or Steve Clark. And survey says
Neil Lennon.
They picked the ginger.
Listen, I rather pick the ginger than the bald-headed bastard. Okay.
I like the fact he's well plotting my death now. But yeah, give me to be fair, the fact that you went Paul Le Guen or Russell Martin, I would choose Paul Le Guen with no brain. I mean, to be fair, he actually had no brain.
What about Paul McGuinn? Was it again Paul McGuinn or Michael Beale then?
Paul Le Guen or Michael Beale? Oh, still Paul Le Guen. But he was fucking awful.
I bet that's Stefan messaging me right now, or Andrew. No, it's bloody Andrew Rogers is messaging the group chat on WhatsApp. Because he's
Tell him I say hello.
I will do.
You should message Stefan that and then just go, he says hello, but you're still going to lose.
Listen, Stefan will be fucking jumping up and he's in his wheelchair.
I was gonna say,
I know.
You mean emotionally jumping up and down? Then?
Emotionally, yeah. Thank you.
Emotionally, passion.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. Football is such a euphoric sport that maybe he can find the energy to go boing.
Yeah,
we all celebrate.
Find a special circumstance for it.
That'd be awesome. I can't bring myself to pick B-Tech Disco from Benidorm. Damn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You've got to choose. Is it Arteta or Scott Brown?
He's chosen Brown.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
I give him that. I give him credit for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll praise that for sure.
And I have to put New Leonard or Steve Clark. Listen. Oh God. Yeah.
But yeah, give me a really hard one. Go for it. I'm all in. I'll have it. I'll take a hard one.
Okay. If it's Rangers, I'm on Manchester in the Manchester final. I'm going to give both managers. Well, actually, because we've done the Rangers part already, but I'll give you the Man United one. You could choose one of the two Manchester United managers.
All right.
David Moyes. Or Ralph Rangnick.
Ralph Rangnick.
Yeah, he's going to go for that one. Something difficult. Or no, make someone better. Keep Moyes in there, or you take the egghead. Ten Hag.
People might be shocked by this, but I'm going with David Moyes.
Okay.
Oh, that is a shock.
That is a shock, yeah.
The last Manchester United manager to reach the Champions League quarterfinals until we eventually got there under Solskjaer.
That's true. That is true. Oh,
I would honestly choose David Moyes to actually push on for a Premier League title than fucking Ten Hag. I'm not even kidding.
Ten Hag is least favourite Man U manager now.
I mean, I appreciate the 2 trophies, but Jesus Christ, he couldn't organise a defence if he actually knew what defence was.
Or even a blue party.
Quite literally.
Yeah, so actually, let's move on from the talking point. And actually, Reece, this is a good topic you brought up. Should we have mid-season breaks, especially in the Premier League? We have in English football. It's been discussed. This has been going for a long time. Where in tradition, British English football always plays. Even British Scottish teams as well still play throughout the winter, where other leagues across Europe don't. It's a good question, Reece. I think because we look at the European leagues, they have like shorter teams. They got small. They got at least less than 18 teams or so, and pretty much they can have the time to play less games. But with us, it's kind of hard because we've been trying to reorganize to try to change it, especially looking at scrapping the League Cup. But it's just like the traditionalists want to keep it, as part and parcel. But yeah, I think it could happen. if English football needs to have a serious talk and said, you know what, we might have to.
I might sound controversial with what I'm about to say. I firmly believe that there should be for all football leagues, regardless across the globe, except the leagues in South America or the MLS, because they
That's
traditionally
changing next season. They're not going into the same fashion because
they're changing because they want to tie in with like the Copa Libertadores and all that stuff, which makes sense because they go into those tournaments, they're practically exhausted. No wonder Flamengo are the best team in South America right now.
Yeah,
Felipe Luis, he's done amazing as their manager.
I know.
Next best Brazil manager, mark my words.
Yeah, agreed.
But I believe there should be a worldwide winter break, and I would do it from December 10th or that period all the way until, say, the 10th of January. A full month all the way through. No football, it's your last game, gone. That's it. You're on holiday, you're on a break. Players don't come back training until, say, the 3rd or 4th of January. And that gives you a full week to prepare. You can still train in your own time. Well, you should be training your own time, but it's still that time where if you're away from work, leisure, relax properly, recuperate. Because at the end of the day, I don't actually think anybody needs Christmas football or New Year's football. And obviously, I know it says a lot because people watch like the New Year's, like Old Firm or whatever. That can be pushed back a week. I don't think there should be any football in that period of time because I'm looking at not just from a personal perspective, I'm looking from emotional. I said it in a group chat I'm in with Doug. December is the worst time of year for expenses and financial problems and personal collapses for people. And when you look at it from an emotional perspective, football can't always save someone from that. So I think it should be a time of year where people are just with their family. They don't need to watch football. Football players need time as well. They're also human. And this might be another thing as well. Yeah, well, here's another thing. See, when it comes to AFCON, Bennett, I know this might sound harsh, but
I think for what has been told, and they are going to move it every 4 years. They're going to move it every 4 years now from next year, next year. But it should not be playing around because of the freaking Club World Cup, and I think that was unfair. I think it will go. It will. It's from what I've been told. AFCON, the CAF Federation have said it's going back to 4 years now. So yeah. But I do agree it should be because, in a way, I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of traveling, especially for everyone up and down the country. And, it's exhausting. It's things like, say, financial burdens as well, So, I just think deep down, could the Premier League even benefit of a more of a later start to the new season? Yes, it would, because we could align ourselves a rough around when the European leagues kick off, because we start so early, especially across the early mid August. Why do we need, So I think, like I said, it could be beneficial to change that. Yes,
it would be. And Michael, you bring up about like the 2022 World Cup. I completely disagreed with the 2022 World Cup, though.
Same.
So like that was another pointless thing. See, another thing about it won't happen this season, but I think from next season onwards, they need to change. The Premier League should be 20 teams. In my opinion, all top leagues in the world should be 18 teams.
I think at some point the Premier League will have to realise that.
I think they should. I would go a little bit more extreme when it comes to the Premier League and say 2026-27 season or 27-28, just relegate 2 teams and just promote 2 teams.
And then change the EFL Championship to Premier League 2 if you want to try to keep,
Yeah, exactly. I think they should. And people are going to say, but that's harsh on them. I was like, well, not really, because 18 teams in the league that brings it down to 34 fixtures. It's the same as Serie A. It's the same as the Bundesliga. It allows more time to rest. It allows more competitiveness within their own leagues. And it's also going to allow those teams, if they've got other European commitments, it allows them to actually properly prepare for a European final.
And also scrap the EFL Cup for Premier League teams. It should be more for the Football League teams.
I agree. The Premier League only basically needs the top European competition they're in, the Premier League and the FA Cup. I think this is why I would say about because I said this on the World of Football podcast last year. If you're going to drop the Premier League clubs from the EFL Cup, then in my opinion, the Championship clubs should be excluded from that checker trade nonsense or whatever it is. That stupid bloody cup or whatever it is. Like, it should just be for League One and League Two.
Yeah.
And they
If you mean the EFL trophy, it already is.
Oh, that's even better. Because that's a fucking waste of time as well. 3 teams.
Yeah, I think
Reece, excuse me, we won the Papa John's pizza stuffed crust pepperoni extra cheese trophy. Don't disrespecting that. No, all joking aside, I agree with you. Yeah,
I think there's so many unnecessary competitions that make no sense.
I agree. I 100% agree with that. I think at some point, I've come to that conclusion now. For years, I was against it, but I'm now realizing, thinking this is now pointless. Now it's getting to the point. The Premier League and Serie A cannot have 20 teams. I think they're the only leagues in Europe.
Serie A's 18, yeah. Serie A's 18.
And La Liga as well. So I think there's a point that something has to change. So I think that will I think the EFL will be scrapped for Premier League and and even because Premier League 2 as well, teams as well in a way, but
they
might keep it to that, But like I said, I think
Michael, that's a great question. I do have a fair response to that. If you can bring that up for me, if that's all right.
Aye. Let's see. Yeah,
I'll read it out. So, but will the Championship benefit from a reduced Premier League? I think not. There isn't a great deal of money coming into the Championship, and PSR is more tighter spending rules for the Championship.
It is a good question. It's interesting with that one.
I do think they benefit, and the reason why I do think they benefit is because if you're reducing the Premier League, it makes it more competitive for teams in the Championship to get into the Premier League. It makes it more competitive for games to be brought on TV as well, because 2 less teams in the Premier League allows for more time for Championship teams to be on TV. The competitiveness in the Championship will then increase even further by going, well, if only 2 teams can get promoted or relegated.
And then in the relegation playoff battle as well,
Yes. It would make the playoffs more interesting as well, because this is what I would do. The only teams that get this might sound very harsh, but it's what I think. If you win the Championship, you're promoted. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th can be your playoffs.
I was just about to say, did you mean as in when 2 teams go from the Championship, did you mean just the top 2 automatically promoted, or similar in the National League where only top gets automatically promoted and then
the top 2 gets promoted like they do in Germany?
Yeah, I don't think you will need the playoffs after that anymore. It's not a bad thing for the playoffs in any way like that, but that playoff money can then go towards the actual team who actually won the freaking league anyway in the first place.
Yeah.
So it should just be the top 2 get promoted, because you see it right now. The teams that win the playoffs, they don't even do anything anyway.
No,
they just come straight back down. So
not, but barring Sunderland, that's different, Michael, because you've done quite well.
They're going to stay up anyway, and they're exactly where I thought they were going to be in the league anyway. But when you look at it in a rough sense, it should only just be the top 2. The top 2 have been the best all season. They've earned the right to get up there.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. If you look at last season, Leeds and Burnley got 100 points, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. And they've earned the right to go up. You guys won the playoffs, rightly so. Therefore, you're in it. But I think within the next couple of years, bang, bin it. I think
from my own point of view, I mean, and I'm not saying this just because obviously in the last couple of years we've won the playoffs. As the neutral, even I enjoy watching the playoffs. I can imagine
I get what you mean. Yeah,
for me personally, I think it increases the excitement of the Championship playoff final. But it's probably one of the richest games. Well, it is the richest game in football apparently, but it's one of the biggest games in the calendar because
unless what you could do is you can still have 3 teams promoted, 3 teams relegated, but it's 16th, 17th, 18th place that gets relegated. But then you've got 1st, 2nd, and then your playoff winner can still retain. That's still a possibility.
But here's one that what Michael's just said there. So Sunderland and Ipswich Town were rare examples of non-parachute teams that were promoted into the Premier League, but both teams were on tight budgets in the Championship. I don't think and that's one of the reasons why I can only speak about us, but that's the main reason we've been able to spend a lot of money this year. Is because when we've been in the Championship, if you look at the fees we spent and I know that you don't spend fees up front; it's amortized over a number of years.
It's amortization and all that.
The point is, if you look, for example, I don't know when the financial year ended, right, last season, but say if it ended end of June, just as an example.
All right.
Last season, Sunderland sold within that financial year Jack Clark, Joe Bellingham, and Tommy Watson. in a year in
Big-
which we also
big
got
money, yeah.
promoted. So, and bear in mind, our highest paid fee in the Championship in the last 3 years was Wilson Isidore for $3.5 million.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
which is a reasonable budget that not even some clubs these days
Yeah,
can't even
Well,
exactly.
afford to
exactly. But
spend.
the point is, if you're doing that as a non-parachute club, then that's innate because our PSR situation's been quite good. That's what, as Karl knows himself, that's why in the summer we were able to go out and basically spend on more or less a whole new team.
Yeah,
And which is the problem is that you have to do. And the problem is as well, financially, it's become ridiculous now to even
Yeah.
have to, like, you look, for example, someone like Simon Adingra, who we signed, 20 million is in reality should be a lot of money, but in
Yeah.
Premier League terms, it's pocket change.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't agree with the whole PSR thing anyway. For me, PSR is crooked, and I say that about my own club as well. I say that about Liverpool. I say that about Man City, Chelsea. People don't think it, but some of our own clubs, individual fan base can admit it. Our
Yeah.
clubs are crooked when it comes to PSR. I can say that as a Man United fan that we should be having transfer embargoes, but other Man United fans won't admit it because we still need to sign players. I'm like, well, yeah, but
Yeah,
we're still in debt. Liverpool are still
Well,
in
that's the
debt.
thing. They encourage clubs to run themselves properly, shouldn't it?
yeah, and
Yes.
Chris is
And this
just
is the thing. Even if, say, for example, you look at next season, right? Let's say, for example, so Wolves and Burnley look gone, right?
Yeah, they're
I've
fucked.
said to Karl those times, and he's agreed with me on this. I think it's probably going to be between Leeds and West Ham, realistically, for that last spot. I don't see Forest will probably lose today, right? But I don't see
Mhm.
Forest down the line being where they are, and if they are, I don't see them
Yes.
getting relegated. That's the big. But even if, say,
Just a little bit, yeah.
well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like even for
Just,
Karl,
yeah.
even for Karl, even if say Leeds went down, right, it is a concern if you look at it. If Leeds did go down with Burnley and Wolves, that's still two of the promoted clubs that have gone down
Yes.
again.
yeah,
And if that happens, then that's what 8 of the last 9 promoted teams. Okay, Burnley went up and down twice, but you know what I mean. In the last 3 seasons, you've still had a lot of the promoted teams sort of going down. I'm not even going to try and attempt to get.
Stripper club.
Oh,
he's
right,
doing
okay.
different. Yeah, I knew he was doing something like that.
But that's the point. Like, actually, I want to bring up a point here. If you're looking at just on the finances of the Prem and the Championship and whatnot, I don't know if you guys watch the 3 at the back. Colin McGilligan does it with Benjamin Bloom and Matt SB, right?
Yeah,
Benjamin Bloom made ask a very good question here. Is what's happened to Wolves the only way at the minute a non-promoted club gets relegated from the Premier League? Because obviously, if Leeds stay up, then that proves that theory wrong, because then they've stayed up ahead of at least one. They've had to stay up ahead of a non-promoted club. But it just begs the question, doesn't it? And even if, say, next season, if, say, Leeds, Burnley and Wolves did go down, then obviously Sunderland's benefited from Wolves deciding to be catastrophically shit. But it makes you think, well, at what point as a promoted club then do you go into the Prem and go, this is because financially it's massive, but as a fan, it's surely, like, ask how Burnley fans will be feeling right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's not one part of them would be enjoying this season at all.
No.
And that's the problem. That's
a great point, that, mate. That's a great point, that.
And I'm saying that as someone who, like, selfishly next season, I'm now looking at it going, right, which 3 teams are most likely to get relegated? Do I want to come up so that we're going to have a, it's just bonkers, really. So and again, and that's the problem, because obviously a lot of the top 17 until this season have had a few seasons of being uninterrupted in the Premier League. So, like, for example, have had a few years of being. Obviously, a number of years ago, they were ran well enough and deserved to be there. But if you look over the last 3 years, they really haven't had to be competent too much because the promoted teams have been cack, basically. But now, all of a sudden, it's introduce an element of complacency going, oh, that's all right, won't get relegated. Oh, shit, Leeds are competitive. Oh, shit, Sunderland's doing really well. Oh, no, we might actually go down here. And you can even argue that about West Ham to a lesser degree as well.
No, I completely agree with that. And I think that's
broken, I think.
Yeah, that's the league for you. And I think the way the league, they're doing a whole new way of the PSR thing. That I think that was introduced this season.
You're on about.
Yeah, that the whole new way they're doing it. I mean, to be fair, it looks fine, but
it's 85% of your turnover you can spend on the first team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you look at that, only a handful of clubs are really going to
benefit from it.
Yeah,
but that's another point. Sorry to interrupt you, Reece, but that's another point.
No, it's all right. When you go,
if you're looking at SCR and you're going 85% of your turnover can be spent on the first team, is that based on your accounts for last year or this year? Because if it's based on last year, then a non-parachute club can't spend much then.
Yeah, exactly.
Their turnover, because then they're getting a TV deal from the Championship and not the Premier League.
Exactly, which
Yeah.
makes no sense at all, and that's
So if
where
anything,
I don't get
if
it.
anything, if that's how it works, it makes it harder for promoted clubs to come up and be competitive, like
Yeah.
properly
And
competitive.
that's why there was a lot of clubs some other clubs wanted to bring anchoring in, such as like other which would have been the difference for that. And
Yeah.
Man City and we're not happy with that. The anchoring, which I
wonder
now do
why.
agree, the anchoring would have worked in a way for teams at the bottom and say, okay, yeah,
Like for me, what I personally what I would have done with this whole PSR is if you do come up, then you should be allowed to spend there, and if you do survive, like if you were to survive and you don't get relegated, then the PSR situation comes in where then right now you need to spend within your turnover.
Yeah, because it makes it more of a level playing field, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, but if you just come up straight away and you've got to base it on one full season, it doesn't make any sense. You better hope that you're actually clever in the championship to sell players. If you can't, then what's the point? Premier League clubs as well, when you look at them, they're spending money that they don't have. And I've used this analogy before. A club like Bournemouth, to be fair, like Bournemouth, they're a good side, they've got a good manager, a respectable club. There's no way in world football that a club like Bournemouth should be able to outspend two of the biggest and most notorious football clubs in history, and that's AC Milan and Juventus.
yeah.
Like there's certain things in life that make sense and doesn't make sense, and a club like Bournemouth should never be able to outspend a club like AC Milan or Juventus.
No, I totally get that. And to be fair, I mean, but obviously that isn't their problem. That's the fault of the system, isn't it? But you're right. I mean, even if you take out AC Milan, Juventus, and obviously I don't think either of us are as big as those clubs, but you look at Sunderland and Leeds, for example. Like, should Bournemouth be able to be Sunderland and Leeds in the pyramid belong for me higher than Bournemouth do? But
Yeah.
Bournemouth have been, but there's a difference between belonging somewhere and deserving to be somewhere. I've always made that distinction. They are two very separate things.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like for Karl, I can imagine he's probably thinking what Leeds could do if Leeds stay up this season because of next season, 85% of turnover can be spent. They can spend more money, stuff like that, And I'm looking at the table at the minute from a Sunderland point of view, going, "Thank fuck, we're on 27 points already," and going, "Well, now what do we need to stay up now? Another 13 at most,
13,
probably."
yeah.
And,
So
and it's going to be quite easy for you because they're playing really well and you are getting results. So I think it's an element of that. You look at other clubs as well who use their name and their history to spend money that they didn't have, and I enjoy cooking them on the World of Football podcast now and again. But Everton, the amount of money that Everton spent in the last 12 years,
hasn't it?
The amount of money they've spent the last 12 years, like people want to talk about like clubs like Arsenal and Man United for the amount of spending which has gone wrong.
Yeah.
Everton have spent the fifth most amount of money in the last 12 years in Premier League history. Like when you look at clubs like Manchester City, Chelsea, notoriously big spenders.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the difference there, though, is that likes of, well, Man City do agree, but obviously Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, like globally, they're huge brands. They are some of the biggest names in world football, and because of that turnover and revenue they generate, that enables them to then spend more and get the better players, which in turn increases their revenue. So it's like a sort of cycle rate. So there's a reason for that.
But I still insist though, like because of how badly, and obviously I can't say much. Like our ownership is an absolute bloody disgrace. But people are going to say, "Oh, but you still spend money." Yeah, where's that money coming from? Oh, yeah, it's coming within the club. But like you're spending like so much money, the club's still in debt. Man United can't justify. We still owe, I think, 300 million in transfer fees. Like it's almost as bad as Barcelona. It's almost as bad as Inter Milan, where in terms like you owe transfer fees, like paying off, and we're still over $1 billion in debt, and we can justify more spending. People are going to say, "Oh, but your club still spends." Where's the excuse? Well, we still spend. I'm not going to say that we don't, but you have to look at our ownership. Like our ownership is horrible. They should be clearing that debt, so then they can actually go and prove. 85% turnover to us is nothing. If we cleared our debt, 85% turnover, does anybody stop Man United in the financial market? Being honest, I think the only clubs that stop us is Barcelona, Real Madrid, and because of their wealth of finance, Newcastle. There's no club in the world football that comes closest in terms of turnover except two of the clubs I've just mentioned. If we cleared our debt, we would have a free run at anything.
Yeah, you would.
But that doesn't happen because we continue to be increasing this debt. If that continues to increase, we should be sanctioned. And I guess because we generate so much money, that's why we don't. And to agree, even as an honest Man United fan, I don't think that's fair. Because eventually we'll get to the point of when do we get sanctioned? Because bear in mind, we finished 15th last season. Yes, we're sitting 5th in the Premier League right now, but we should be getting hit, because if Chelsea can get hit just as big, we should be getting hit.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's absolutely. Listen, I think like what Chris said earlier on. He said about last season, you're going 96 points and they got smashed in the playoffs, and it's maybe it's a proof. You think about what the permutations are, but I think at some point the Premier League can't run itself in the model it's supposed to be in years to come. I just don't think it will. I think, but if there's gonna be more fixtures piled on in the next decade, at some point you're gonna be looking at and this is why the EFL and the Premier League are discussing about the 3 p.m. blackout, because if it does say in the next decade or so that the Championship will become a Premier League 2 and the EFL will
coming like that already, I think,
and especially the National League are trying to get free up and free down in League 2. I think there's going to be so much reorganisation where they will have to say, look, if football needs to sustain itself, then it's time for reorganisation. I know some of the tradition is like, no, it's not that you can't do this, but if you want to keep clubs alive, like for example, we nearly lost a lot of clubs over 20 years ago on failed TV deals, like the Football League did, where they had to, when they were on the ITV spot. And even a couple of months ago, I think it was Tom Wagner from Birmingham City was talking at a sports business event, said that the EFL should do more business of getting a global rights deal. They should not be asking the Premier League clubs to spend it. And he's got a point to say he had a point with that one. So I think at some point, there will have to be a big talk about that. The football needs to be reorganized in England completely.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of like rethinking of how everything's done. I think even if you look at the Championship, and Karl, obviously, Karl and me would have had different perspectives on this last year, because last year Leeds were a Year 2 parachute club, Sunderland weren't a parachute payment club. But another way of looking at it is, if you're a parachute club in the Championship, it's effectively a free, as long as you're not totally incompetent, it's a free run at trying to get promoted in many ways, because you'll be able to. And by the way, and Karl back us up. I said this last season. That's not Leeds' fault. That's not Burnley's fault. That's not Sheffield United's fault. They've earned that right through getting promoted to the Premier League and having that. I made the point about how, say for example, with us, we're not to make it too much about Sunderland, but look at when we were looking at Tom Cannon or Marcus Edwards, Burnley and Sheffield United respectively beat us to those signings, but that was our fault for being out of the Prem for so long and not being able to have the money. But it just makes the question that you have to be. Okay, this season it is a bit different with Coventry running away with it at the minute, with Middlesbrough in the top 2. But I feel like that's an outlier. In general, the parachute payment clubs are usually dominating the top of the division, unless you have a club like a Luton last season, for example, which again is an outlier. More times than not, it is the parachute teams. And I made the point that before this season, of the last 5 years before this, so 2021, the lockdown year, 21-22, 22-23, 23-24, 24-25, I think it's apart from Ipswich in 23-24, every team that's finished it, in fact, I could be wrong on that, but I think it's at least every of the top 2 of the last 5 years, I think apart from Ipswich, it's been 2 of the parachute sides in the top 2.
Yeah. So here's something I've got as an interesting question, then, because I brought this up on the World of Football podcast once at the start of the season, and some people agreed with me, some people didn't. And I was looking at it from a fair perspective. I wasn't trying to talk anyone's clubs down or anything like that. I was just trying to make a fair point. And what I basically said is, now this sounds harsh, but I said whoever wins their respective division should just get all the TV money. I'm not trying to say that nobody deserved that. I basically said, if you win the Premier League, you should get all the freaking TV money. You should get all the reward for it because you've won it. Same with the Championship. If you win the Championship, you should just get all the money for it. Anything that's passed down, scraps, so be it. But there should be a massive chunk that goes to the winner because they've won their respective league. But then I said, do the clubs that get relegated actually deserve to get parachute payments? Do they even need these payments? And I went, no. You're rewarding people for finishing last.
Who get more than Bayern Munich in
I was just about to mention that. If you would probably get more. I'd say Wolves. Wolves this season.
You get 40 million for getting relegated from the Premier League.
I was going to say Wolves will probably get more this season than some of the elite clubs abroad.
Yeah, which is wrong. Which is wrong. But they should.
By the way, Wolves won't complain about that. No, well, they will complain about getting relegated. But I mean, the financial side of things, they won't complain about. No, should they? That's that's not their fault. That's how the system works. But
you shouldn't reward clubs for getting. You shouldn't.
But that's another point though that you've just mentioned. If Wolves go down, right, likely when Wolves go down, like in the Championship, even despite all their stuff this season, despite the apparent debt that they've got behind them, these problems,
Winning next season.
let's be honest, they're still going to be probably arguably one of the richest clubs in the league next season in the Championship.
Mhm.
At least,
I agree with that to the
So
sentiment. Yeah,
again, if you look at West Ham, would be quite interesting if they went down to see what their state would be in the Championship. But again, assuming it's going to be Leeds, say if Leeds did take that last spot, and it's Leeds, Burnley, and Wolves,
Yeah.
them three should have by miles the biggest
Yeah.
attraction in the Championship. Year one parachute teams, and they're not, and all the parachute clubs this season haven't ran themselves very well. So
Yeah.
if he gets to the point, say Leicester next season, they're still not going to be in great shape. Southampton maybe a bit better, but not great. Sheffield United won't be a parachute payment club next season.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you know it does make it a lot more interesting. So it comes a point in the system where if say 3 non-parachute clubs go up this year, then next season you're going to have 6 parachute payment clubs in the Championship. Assuming none of them do a Luton, of course. But I think that's quite unlikely. But the point is, that means then you're thinking, well, what the hell are you going to do then? Because there's just a constant cycle that just keeps going on. And as a non-parachute club, unless you're ran exceptionally well and a lot of things fall for you, it's going to be near impossible to compete and get promoted.
This is why I don't think there should be parachute payments awarded. You've got owners. You got relegated because you were shit. Respectfully, like that's just how it is. You shouldn't be rewarding them. But I do have an interesting question. You mentioned there earlier on about Premier League 2. Then I mentioned about the Premier League being reduced teams to 18. But if you play well over 40 league games in the Championship, if that was to become a Premier League 2, how would you want that organised? Would you still want it to be 24 teams and over 40 games? Or would you reduce it? Like how would you run the Premier as a Premier League 2?
Is the second Bundesliga? It's the same number of teams, 34 games. I take it. Second Bundesliga.
If so, then that'd be okay, I suppose.
I think
Bundesliga's 34.
I think it depends.
Bundesliga's 34 games as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends if your club's in it or not. if your club's in it, you're probably all for less games in the sense of not having games build up, fatigue build up, everything else that goes with it.
But if it's a Premier League 2, though, feasibly, how would you organise it? How many teams in it? How many? So if it's 20 teams, then you're already capped at 38 games. If you've got 24 teams, it's 46 in the Championship.
Yeah.
So if 18 teams, 34 league games, boom, done. When do you start it? What are you including? What are you excluding? Because at the end of the day, it would be a lot more. It would still be more competitive than what it already is, even though it's actually really competitive right now.
Ooh, so because the second Bundesliga starts before the Bundesliga,
it does because it's lower division. Similar to as well, the SPFL Championship always starts first.
Well, also starts a week before the Premier League.
Yeah, like a couple of weeks before Bundesliga. Yeah. So at the moment, I would say maybe it goes to at least 18-team format in a way, because for those teams, and when you go down to the over low leagues below the Bundesliga, at least there's 20 teams in the Premier League, and the same thing, and when you go to the regionals as well, because
regionals are fun in Germany. They're such a fun.
I heard it's very fun. I heard it's very fun, and especially they have 18 teams in most of those regional ones. Yeah. So
you can casually watch them online as well. Like they're such a good laugh. Like I watched 1860 Munich versus a regional team, and it was
a team I remember such a long time that played against us 25 years ago.
It was a score fest. This regional team was putting 5 past 1860 Munich, and 1860 put 9 past them. I was like, this all day, proper high scoring game. Give it to me. But like that's the madness. But I'm thinking, if you reduced it to say 20 teams, if it became Premier League 2, like the Premier League is 18 teams, Premier League 2 is 20.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most fair way to do it, this might sound harsh, but you've got you can't do a round robin tournament to stay in the league, but say like the top 10 teams are already in the league, or the 10 teams are already in like the top finish, they should already be fine. But you do like a wee mini tournament at the very end of the season where below halfway they compete, and then you have a or you can just do like the bottom four, like the bottom 8 teams are fighting to survive, and then 4 teams survive, and then that's your 20 teams, and then 4 get relegated.
I could see something that pattern that might work. Yeah,
Because you can't just kick out 4 teams from the league. If you do it as a tournament from at least the bottom 8 teams, at least you see who stays and who goes, and then that's it: 4 winners, 4 losers.
I'd also find it interesting to see how League One would be structured as well, though, because you've got 4 teams currently going down from that league, and then 3 teams going up, and it's the same way for League Two. You've got 4 teams going up and 2
and then
going
2
down,
teams going down.
which
Yeah,
then reduces in the National League.
It's not balanced enough. Yeah,
That's the thing.
we should be in charge of the PFA and all that crap. Like, we would actually fix the league structures.
yeah.
I like Luke's comment, by the way, very quickly, where he says, and hopefully we won't be there in the Championship to see it. So, in case you haven't noticed, play up Sky Blues. Yeah, Luke, you're not going to be in the Championship next season. No. It would take a monumental cock-up from here.
Team does
to go up.
Team does look support?
Coventry.
Oh, right.
Basically, the phrase is play up Sky Blues, hence PSUB.
Yeah.
When it comes to Coventry, I just know fick all except the tarnished online you get about forcing rivalries with everybody. No offense, but like, I'm eager to see how they get on, because even I'm surprised like how Frank Lampard's done so well with them. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a Championship, it's his level, but like, he's walked into Coventry and he's actually done really well. Yeah. After his reputation got smashed with Chelsea and Everton.
To be fair, like last season, you actually watched I don't buy into this narrative. We were lucky to get past Coventry over 2 legs, but I think in the second leg, we were fortunate to get extra time and not be further behind. I think Coventry actually played. Coventry, I thought, were actually probably one of the best teams we came up against in the Championship, and I think, I'm always someone that felt with Lampard. And I think Luke might agree with me on this. I didn't get the negativity around Frank Lampard as a manager. I didn't understand why people were saying he was really, really crap. I get with Chelsea at the start of his second season, when he had money to spend, he did crap. But he got to them in the Champions League place the year before, while under a transfer embargo, so couldn't sign anyone. That was impressive. Everton, when he went there was a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that have started
not his fault.
They're starting to get resolved now.
Derby, what was it before that? Derby, he should have done a whole lot better.
Exactly. So there's. And I know people can say, he had the loan players and stuff like that. But if it was that simple, would Luton Town have got relegated with parachute payments? No. So, it's straight simple as that way. So I think Lampard, it's a weird one, because with Coventry, I think if they go up, well, likely when they go up, next season, I could see Lampard being a big enough name to attract a fair few signings.
It would not be surprising.
I wouldn't be shocked whether it would be enough to keep them up, I don't know. But I'd certainly think that if they would have the best chance out of any of the 3 who would come up, and I'm including even if Ipswich come back up in that.
Yeah.
The only criticism I have with Frank Lampard, and I've said this consistently before because it really pissed me off, when he got the Chelsea job, he's like, transfer embargo, no transfer embargo. I'm going to use the squad we have, and I'm going to incorporate the younger players, and we're going to build a team because I really like the academy lads. Gets to his second, and then he gets to the second season. Bear in mind, they had Tomori, they sold him to AC Milan, he wins Serie A in his first season. Yeah. They had Abraham, Hudson-Odoi, all of that. He then goes into his second season, and the very first press conference, I remember it well, he said, I don't think our academy squad is actually that good enough after all. I don't think these young stars have got a chance. And I was like, you've literally just cost yourself your job. Yeah. No matter what you do, you've just cost you, because these young players will not want to play for you now, and not a single one of them turned up for Chelsea that season. No,
and especially when they bought the team of Werner, Hakim Ziyech, and I'm like, really, you say you didn't trust them, and then look what way, and then
Werner, he ruined Werner.
I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Chelsea's, I guess, million reserve players that they've got.
They'll end up.
I'll be surprised to see a few of them end up at Coventry next season.
I think they'll get maybe 3 or 4, but then again, you can only loan from the same club once now, so maybe
But this is the thing.
2 or 3 signings.
Loaning the expensive type of players. I'm talking ones that would cost more fees and bigger wages, because loan fees and wages split between the 2 clubs. But I would look at players that I think they could get, players that haven't been maybe have gone out on loan a few times, but haven't featured for Chelsea, but are deemed too good for like the Championship. So maybe are deemed good enough for the bottom.
Well, even Luke's just said that Tyrese George.
George.
It's look like that's going to happen.
But he looks like a player. Like he looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good, and I think he'd do wonders at Coventry if that.
Yeah,
because it's probably going to happen. I just was thinking what I heard what Luke said about the Championship is a great league. He doesn't think it needs changing, but the thing is they want to expand the playoffs. I'm like up to 3 more.
I disagree with that, mind. I think the playoffs format's fine as it is.
Yeah, but if it was reorganization, I think it has to change it some ways because at some point it's going to eventually going to happen.
Well, let me ask Karl this, right? Because obviously I can't speak as a neutral for the playoffs last season because, as Karl knows, I was chewing my fingernails all the whole 3 weeks and I was really, really stressed about it. Some of them were involved in it. But from Karl, when you could kick back, you were promoted. What did you think of the playoffs last year? I mean, as a neutral, did you enjoy watching them as the format as it was?
I think there was so much huge disparage between Bristol City and Sheffield United in a way where Bristol City was still in the game before that Rob Dickey red card, and I think we all came to that conclusion when they got sent off.
Yeah, Sheffield United would have to win probably anyway, but I know what you mean. That was,
but it would have. I think it
would have made it more competitive had it not.
It would have been more competitive. But as soon as that said happened, I thought Sheffield United were going to go all the way to the final. It's written already with that one. With Sunderland and Coventry, that was hard to want to see because I thought, with Coventry on the front line, probably had a good late surge towards the end, and you guys were out of form because you got all the points early in the first half of the season. The second half, I thought, can Sunderland turn up to these two legs in the semi-finals? And I thought with the final itself, it was dependent on if we have Sheffield United again, it's just that super club mentality. But I felt like Sunderland deserved it after the years of shit, of all the shit housing you guys went through. And then in the neutral, I said, I'm glad we're not involved with this scenario when Leeds the season before should have done better against the Southampton, and because we collapsed so much towards the season, it affected us.
Ooh.
So,
well, what I kind of meant
2-0 Hibs.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. I'm gonna have.
Geez, well, that's right before half time as well. But yeah, no, I might actually watch the second half of this game. To be fair, but what I was going to say, because obviously I think you are right. I think that in the end we did deserve it. But the question I more meant was, as a neutral, if you remove the fact I'm a Sunderland fan, remove all of it out of it, like, does the format work for you then? When you obviously you've got the 5th and 6th home leg first, away leg second, vice versa for 3rd and 4th.
It should not be.
I think the format as it is, I like it as it is.
I like it as it is, but the team, but like I said, the quality. It should be a bit of a randomized draw in a way, so you don't have to get it. The 4th versus 5th. And then and then 3rd place. It should be a bit of like a
I don't know, maybe unless you did the random shite of having 3rd versus 4th in the semis, then 5th versus 6th, then you have 1 5th, 6th team in the final. But then you're kind of rewarding finishing 5th as opposed to finishing 4th. Then because if you finish 4th, you're facing the team that's 3rd. So
yeah, it should be more.
The only way that would be remotely fair is if all 4 teams were separated by a point. Then there's barely any difference in it.
Yeah,
they should make it like a cup draw. I know that sounds harsh, but just like
no, but there's no agenda there, is it? It's completely random. You just go right, okay, and then you get what you're given.
And Rod Stewart can get on the Viagra and he can pick one out if he wants to. But it certainly works. Yeah, I mean that's another great point. Look, that's absolutely spot on. Imagine finishing for 25 points or so ahead of someone 8th and not going through.
Yeah,
that's absolutely true. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a reel that I shared on Facebook the other day because again I love taking the piss out of Celtic, right? But there's there's one from still game vibe, but it's like a Tune the Fat clip, and it's the guy who sits there for the job interview. And he goes
I saw that. Yeah,
all he does is he just moves like he's flicked hair, and it just says "pussy" on the front. It's like that's how Celtic gets a new manager, Wilfred Nancy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is going to be the situation what we have now. I think it's going to be so much debate for the years to come because I think, like I said, yes, English football is a good football pyramid, but there's still a lot of flaws in there, and I think at some point we have to have that talking point again. Do we have to reorganize the whole football pyramid? And there's a probably chance that we'll have to. Eventually, these players cannot play more than 70 plus games a season.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when there's players who got big squads. Not everyone gets a chance. So I think there's going to be a talking point there.
There's going to be a restructuring at some point. I think even if you looked at like League One, League Two, for example, you're going to have at least 3 EFL Trophy games in there, 46 regular league games, and if you're a club that finishes in the playoffs, then you've got the playoff semis at least, if not the final, plus the first round of the Carabao and FA Cup. So there's a load of games there involved.
Here's another thing as well, and this is a thing that I find really I've watched some games, Doug, but it's just hard to watch. I'll be watching Cameroon versus Ivory Coast though. I am definitely not missing that game.
Same here. Yeah.
The Ahmad and Buemo derby, as I'm calling it. People that say, "Oh, the Premier League's like," and I get it. To be fair, like practically everybody watches the Premier League. People say, "Oh, the Premier League's the best league in the world," and all that. I don't think it is. It's just the most expensive, financially lucrative league in the world.
What do you mean by best, though? Do you mean as in the best quality, or do you mean the best in entertainment?
They say just overall it's the best, and I'm like, I don't. For me, I still think the best league in football, despite the odd scandal here and there, I still think the best league in football is Serie A. I know it's more financially lucrative in the Premier League. You've got different types of teams that can win the league. Serie A's got far more competitiveness to win a championship. It's harder to win.
Yeah.
And I love watching the Premier League. But if you told me which league I'd rather watch hands on heart every single weekend, I'd rather watch Serie A.
Well, let's call this then, right? Since we've recently experienced both divisions. If you're going to look as a neutral game, would you rather watch the Premier League or a Championship game?
Hands down, the Championship.
Because it's weird, right? Because obviously we both want. I want Sunderland to be in the Prem, and that's where I think we belong as a club.
Of course.
If I'm looking at if a 12:30 game happened, let's say you had. I'm trying to think of a game off the top of my head. Leicester, Southampton, right? Actually, no, let's pick a non-parachute game.
With no Will Still, you have an avoidance of a Will Still shit up.
Yeah, you could say that. I was just thinking, even when Will Still's gone, there's no way Reece is not saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what I mean? I think if I was to watch, trying to think of two teams at the top of the division, let's say Hull versus Preston or something, or even, no, let's put Middlesbrough, right? Coventry Borough, there you go, top two, right? Coventry Middlesbrough, or versus
Villa Fulham.
Yeah, okay, there's a good example. I'd probably pick Coventry Borough. I think that Coventry Borough, I mean, obviously it's easy because of the top two of the division, right? But Coventry games, with or without Lampard, whoever it is, they're more entertaining more times than not, because something bonkers, and I think Luke would agree, something bonkers tends to happen with Coventry. Obviously this year less so, but generally there's that. Middlesbrough, club that's a big championship club, there's ones that are wanting, I think, or even Coventry versus Ipswich, I think there's, I'm gutting them at work actually because I'll be missing those Monday night games, but the point is, I think the championship is more, it's less, okay, put it this way, the Premier League to me comes across as very tactical, more so, and I don't mind, and in some ways that is a very, in some ways that's quite fascinating to watch, but in terms of entertainment, the championship for me is very entertaining to watch because of how it's less predictable as well. Even if you look at it just from maybe Coventry winning games is predictable at the minute, but I bet if you ask any Coventry fan or any fan, oh by the way, Coventry is going to be, let me see if I can get this exact gap up on the table, so just take me 2 seconds. So Coventry's going to be 13 points above third and 8 points above second after Christmas. No one would have predicted that, where you can go, oh, Arsenal, Man City, competing at the top of the Prem. Yeah, all right, boring.
Yeah,
not for them, it's not. But
and this is why I prefer. We got clubs in the Premier League. We support clubs. I'm an AC Milan fan as well, but I look at them as in general. I look at the sheer excitement of what I get in Serie A. It feels like the early 90s when you had the seven sister clubs who can compete for a championship. Back then it was Milan, Roma, Inter, you had Fiorentina, you had Sampdoria, you had Juventus. Now you've got AC Milan, you've got Inter Milan, still the two, you've got AS Roma, Lazio.
These aren't small clubs either.
No, they're not. If you've Juventus are recovering,
you got Como, who I watched 2 weeks ago, played fantastic against Torino.
Nobody will believe this, but this is a genuine fact. I'll ask you a question, Michael. Who is the richest club in Italy? Who do you think is the richest club in Italy?
My football knowledge probably outside of England is crap, really. But if I had to guess who the richest one is, I would assume one of the Milan clubs.
No. Try again. Okay.
Roma?
Nope.
Lazio?
Definitely not. It's not Roma.
Wow.
No,
It's not even
not
someone.
Lazio.
Okay, cool.
I'll give you a clue. We've just mentioned the name, but it's none of the big clubs.
We'll have to get Syria out. Oh, then hang on.
You will be genuinely surprised who the richest club is.
I've just mentioned them just not long ago, just seconds ago.
Yeah. Genuinely, the richest club in Italy is mental.
Is it someone I'm going to be absolutely astonished at when I hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they win Serie A, like it will hit like crack. They will eventually win Serie A.
Okay, are they in the top or bottom? Okay, it's not Fiorentina, is it?
No, they're at the top of the table.
They are in the top. They're in the top half of the league.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Karl, Juventus.
It's not Juventus.
It's not Juventus.
Really?
Nope.
Right. Okay, Bologna.
Nope. Great team as well. They've got a good chance of winning stuff as well.
Okay, Como.
Bingo.
That's the one. Because you know why?
Okay.
Yeah, Como. They have been the team that is people are looking down in the next decade, and Reece can agree that it could happen. That they could actually, because the guy Cesc Fabregas is not just in charge, but he has part of his ownership of the club as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the ownership,
he's been brilliant.
United, they got loads of money. They have been, especially the buying players for good quality players.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well, Chris. Like Fabregas should stay at Como.
Yeah,
I agree. Like I look at what he's doing. Like Como have got such a good side, and yeah, they did get absolutely destroyed by Inter a couple of weeks ago. They got beat 4-0. But the fact of the reality is, like, they barely get beat like that. Like, they are so hard to beat, but they play good football. But, like, people always think, Serie A is just defensive football. Not really.
Not really, no. And Como spent some really good money, some really good players this season as well. Especially, they paid, I think they paid 22 million euros for Hegels Rodriguez from Real Betis, who's a 19-year-old who's going to be probably he's already got his first cap for Spain. And
only their second season, Michael.
Exactly.
And there you go.
And also the players that I think is going to be linked to big clubs as well is Nico Paz, who they bought for Real Madrid last season for 6 million euros. And Real Madrid had a buyback clause, Michael, and I don't think you. And for what I've been told, Nico Paz could go for more than 40 million euros, maybe more than that in the next coming years.
They'll pay. The funny thing is, was because of how rich Como are, I reckon Como will buy out that deal.
Yes,
of Madrid, they will buy it out because that's something that these clubs don't do. And I'll tell you another thing: Arsenal fans, you can keep away from Bartasaghi, you thieving bastards.
Yeah.
When the league goes back to AC Milan this season, I'll be happy. But when you generally look at how good Serie A is, Fiorentina's collapse is horrible. It's a shame. Like they've only won once all season. That was last week. They won 5-0 against Udinese. But when you look at the fact is like players like Moise Kean, De Gea, who are bottom of Serie A, which is unheard of, they're going to go for peanuts in the summer. Any club can pick them up. Like Moise Kean, I think Moise Kean, AC Milan still want him as well. But like you look at Juventus are still trying to figure things out, rebuild themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
Like Roma have literally just come out. They're letting Paulo Dybala go at the end of the season. They're not renewing his contract.
They're not now. And I think there was a time that it was coming at some point.
If I was Allegri, I would be like, right, do I want Moise Kean or do I want Dybala? And I would be like, get them both. You can get them both for like 20 million. I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
But like you look at Roma as well. Roma, their managers just came out a week ago and saying Gasperini literally said a week ago, Evan Ferguson will never start for this club again.
He did say that. Mm-hmm.
That's how shite he is. But hey Premier League fans
all that big hype that he came from is now fizzled out completely.
Yeah. It's crazy how good they are.
Yeah.
Dybala is cheap, but he's still such a good player.
Aye.
Like he's such a joy to watch. But I look at Serie A and like you look at the clubs that can compete and all that, and I'm like, how can you rub them off?
I enjoy watching a lot more than I have done for the past 3 weeks, especially when I'm on the zone. I'm seeing them think play for bloody hell. This is actually coming a lot more better than you know. And when I watched Como a couple of weeks ago, I thought the annihilation they beat Torino before they lost AC Milan. I thought, there's a reason why Cesc Fabregas and Thierry are now the shareholders at that club.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that project, why that project is becoming really good.
Exactly. And Parma did beat Fiorentina, so status quo is resumed. They're back to losing ways. but like it's their downfall is this is just as bad as when they
It's
lost
been coming for
Baggio.
quite a long time. It's been coming for quite a couple of years now, completely. And I think, Michael, if they won that Europa Conference League final against West Ham, and also even beating Olympiacos, I don't think they would be in the situation where they are right now, because they're the worst team than Wolves is together. So
Losing Italiano as well to Bologna as well, like
exactly.
and they're in the Supercoppa final against Napoli.
It's amazing how football can one result and one bad misfortune or good one either way can
And
change
especially,
everything.
they will just they are redeveloping the stadium, Michael. And the problem is, it's not on hold now because there's some issues with the council. So it's so much it's screwed up. Since they got taken over by the American community, they really have struggled so badly.
I think we're going to get to a period where, call me crazy, and to be fair, I'm used to these sort of crazy predictions. If Serie A can get another massive TV deal across the globe, they can get, or if the streaming platforms go heavy on Serie A and they invest massively.
Yeah, like they're doing in the US with Paramount and same, yeah.
Yeah. If Serie A get a massive, expensive global deal, Serie A will again become the best domestic league in Europe.
Oh yeah, in Europe, I agree that hands down.
Like Champions League and Europa League and all that, they will absolutely dominate again.
I absolutely agree with that. 100% with you, Reece. I do. I think the way after the years they were struggling a bit, and I think they've done well to reorganize themselves, especially the rights of the deal now they have done with getting the zone, which is now becoming a bit more global.
Mm-hmm.
With the deal with Paramount in the US, it's been huge. Where I see their coverage has been so better for them, where they bring in so much experience, especially content streamers who are Italian Americans. They're now coming in and out, which has been good because I've enjoyed the quality of it for the first time, seeing what Serie A is doing.
And it's good that all these clubs as well. It's not just like the big seven clubs there as well, but like the other clubs as well, like Udinese, Parma, who have restored themselves, Sassuolo, who are still finding their feet back again. You get all of that as well, and you just up the pace because obviously Chris mentioned like Serie A slightly slower. The one thing that's been constantly criticised by the likes of Capello, Sacchi, Del Piero, they say constantly the only problem with the league is when it gets to Europe, they're not quick enough. If they increase the speed in Europe, how can you stop Serie A?
Yeah.
Like, especially when they're all being pushed. Push them in Europe to play faster because they've got the quality. Like, on their day, they can beat any European team. They've proven it.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
It would be insane. And I think for the good of football, I think we need Serie A to dominate Europe again because it stops the Premier League clubs from getting complacent and lazy.
Yeah.
Because that is literally what Serie A does. It makes these teams step up in Europe. And it's crazy if that happens, then all the world again. Like that's what we need.
That's why That's why I don't think Tomori will ever come back to England. I think he will finish his career in Italy. I could see that happen. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek will never come back. I think he's had a better success. Even the Scottish players, I don't see them coming back to the UK now, Michael, because it's how it's making it a bit more competitive. I think that's why. I think a lot of people like what Chris said. Maybe see, it is a slow pace, but boy, sometimes the quality it makes more exciting in our opinion.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and also as well, if you're going to have more teams being more competitive, and it's like I was just looking at the Serie A table, like how closer the top of the division is compared to even say like the Premier League at the minute. Like the Prem's got the top three teams. Okay, are Villa going to win the Prem? It would be quite surprising if they did, but they're still the top three, and then it's little bit of a gap between the fourth downwards. So that would make it certainly more entertaining to watch, really. And I'm not surprised and based on that, then I'm not surprised players are going over there and actually sort of thriving really well. You're looking to see even someone again, like you might mention him earlier, Scott McTominay, someone who's actually gone over there and has really made his trade.
Exactly.
Going and playing in the Serie A. So it's probably and if that trend continues with a number of players going over there and doing well, then that'll only increase it over the next few years, really.
Yeah.
I think there's another crazy thing as well, and this is something that's a real shame. But see, when you look at Serie A as well, I think Serie A is the only top 5 league that still truly appreciates the classic number 10, even though the number 10's faded.
Yeah.
Like a few of them in the Bundesliga here and there, but there's not a lot. Whereas in Serie A, that practically every team, some way, shape, or form, has some form of number 10.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it sucks that we don't have that. And like the Premier League, barely, they have attacking midfielders, but they don't have a number 10. And I'm like, what was the last genuine number 10 in the Premier League? What, David Silva? Mesut Ozil?
Probably Silva more than Ozil, yes. I think.
But Serie A, like you look at nearly every single team, they've all got one. Some way, shape, or form. Like Yildiz for Juventus, AC Milan. You could say Pulisic if you wanted to, even though he plays more of a striker role, but he still is more of a number 10 now than anything else. Inter Milan, they've got their abundance of that as well. Like Roma, Dybala, like they have that. Like that's something that's gone out of football, and it's a bloody shame.
It is, and do you know what, Chris? I think Joe Gomez could suit Serie A. I think he does. I think he will. I think it does suit Serie A for Gomez because, like I said, and I do agree that Tomori is not even in close to the England squad, where he's had a very good few seasons for AC Milan, and I'm surprised he's not in an England squad. It surprised me as well, and I think
don't get that either.
I think I'm surprised Tuchel's not looked at him thinking, especially coming up to the World Cup, he has been performing better than the most defenders that in the Premier who's in the squad at the moment.
I think it's some sort of arrogance. I honestly think it is. I don't get it. I don't know why. Like they say the best defenders play in Serie A. Well, then why are you not why are you not doing that? The only thing I have an issue with in Serie A though is the lack of Italian players that are playing for their top teams though.
I agree with that.
That's something they have. That's something they have to implement more. Is more Italian players in their squad because that's why Italy are not qualifying for the World Cup, and it's hurting them massively. But if they could change that about, then great. I think there should be a lot similar to the Brazilian league. I've said this about the Brazilian league as well. Back in the late 80s and the 90s, we all remember like the Yugoslav league before they went to shit, and obviously that civil war. But they had a cap where you could not leave the Yugoslav league until you were 28, 29 years old. And then you can go to like another European league. So like I said, Mijatovic, Mijalovic, all that. They were playing for Red Star, won the European Cup, and then after that, they imploded. But imagine like the Brazilian league. You're developing all these young Brazilian players. They don't leave until they're like 25, 26.
Yeah. It's like with Endrick, what's going on at he's now going to Leo now for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's like, why you buy him then if you should have stayed a little bit longer.
Exactly. There should be people are going to say, oh, but that's not right. You can't let a player leave their league. I was like, well, if you're under contract and you're playing for this league, it'd be good to see your own league develop with more naturally homegrown players. Like, I think that would be good to see, like the sheer mass of like a cap where you don't have to be like say 28, 27, like 27, 28, but maybe like you cannot leave your own. If you're a professional footballer, say playing the Premier League and you're English, you shouldn't be allowed to leave the English league until you're 26, and then you can go abroad. Have the time in your own league. Serie A, 26 Italian, then go. Spanish, 26, 27 in La Liga, go. But the Brazilian league, they lose their young players so early for big money. I'm like, they don't need to anymore. They've actually stabilised their economy, so there should be a cap in these leagues.
I think eventually at some point it will have to happen because especially you're still buying players from like Brazil at a young age. And I think this is why we're seeing Vinicius Jr. at some point is now having a fallout thinking if he just, yes, he was a couple of years ago, he was one of the best players in the world. But now that it's falling out, I'm thinking this is, if he was still in Brazil, maybe this would have been different.
You know what's mad? This time next year, we could potentially be seeing Neymar playing for Flamengo. Because his contract at Santos expired, and apparently they're struggling to renew his contract.
Yeah, I've heard, and I'm not surprised. And I think, especially because of them in the relegation battle as well. So he
saved them from getting relegated as well.
He did, them
1-0 Man City as well. They've just scored.
There was half time. Pretty much Man City was on top of it for quite a bit.
I think Flamengo are going to go back and win back-to-back Copa Libertadores.
I do, and I think Felipe Luis is going to be one of those managers. He's going to be honest. He's that Diego Simeone type. And I could see
so good as a manager.
bloody hell, it makes so much sense why. Yeah.
3-0 Hibs. Oof.
Yep, it's going to be a field day. Yep, it's a field day for me.
I honestly reckon, I've got a crazy take. I think Carlo Ancelotti will stabilise Brazil. He might win the World Cup, he might not. But if he doesn't do it, I think Felipe Luis will win the World Cup for Brazil.
I can see that.
I genuinely think he's that good.
I think he was the first proper Brazilian manager to win, if he ever did win the World Cup. So
since Zagallo, because to be fair, what's his face? He doesn't even he doesn't know what he is.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely as well. Yeah, but you know what, gentlemen, I think we should finish off anyway because
I was going to say fair play. We've been talking for nearly 2 hours. Well, actually, over 2 hours. Sorry, including the 20 minutes nobody got to see before.
I know
that was entertaining.
It's a good thing I'm moving away from Evo after next week because I'm going on to Streamlabs. So that is going to be the best thing to do.
I suppose before we go, I did bring this up. Like one last thing of like, who's your goalkeeper of the year, who's your defender of the year, who's your midfielder, and who's your attacker of the year?
That's a good question. Okay.
Across the world, and who's your genuine manager of the year?
Genuine manager of the year. It has to be Luis Enrique. Manager of the year, hands down, completely. Because
I'm in concurrence with that.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Goalkeeper of the year. Give me the candidates. I would probably.
I would honestly I honestly think it's Donnarumma.
That's all I can think of. I can't see no one beyond Donnarumma at the moment.
Yeah. I think defenders hard because people are going to go like if you look at like I'm guys in general like I'm putting all together like your like wing back, centre back, all in the same one. Like people will probably say Nuno Mendes. I don't know. I think midfielder of the year is Vitinha.
Yeah, I agree with Vitinha. I think the defender of the year has to be Hakimi. Because it's a piece sheet. It's all good for piece sheet because the way it's done. I think Hakimi was the best defender this year.
Between him and Mendes for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
The attacker's hard because I'm stuck between three.
Yeah,
I'm stuck between Haaland. I'm stuck between actually no, a little bit. I think Kvaratskhelia deserves to be in the conversation. I think Dembele win the Ballon d'Or he should be, but even though I don't rate him. I also think Harry Kane's still in the conversation for attacker of the year. But like, if you had to pick attacker of the year, who would you pick? I think it's Dembele. Personally,
I think him moving away from Barcelona has proven that he was not that donkey where people was, and I think he's proven that he wanted to be the main focal point, and he got that. So
he's such a good centre forward.
I know. I think Barcelona misused him so badly, especially with his injuries. I think he just he didn't fit the
Forest have equalised.
Jeez. We got a game on our hands then with that one.
Christ. I was thinking if we're watching the Edinburgh, I might watch this one instead. At least it seems more competitive.
Yeah.
Murray Hutchinson. Tell you what, he's actually started to develop really well for Forest now since he signed.
Well, Murray Hutchinson.
I agree. Yeah, I can't look beyond Luis Enrique, Donnarumma, Hakimi, Vitinha, and probably Dembele. I can't look beyond them at the moment.
Did you watch the Intercontinental Cup final?
I did it, but I saw the highlights of it. I could see the way. Yeah,
that is honestly one of the best games of football I've watched all year from club sides. Like I've seen people saying that PSG were going to absolutely smash Flamengo.
No,
and I'm like, do you even watch football? Flamengo are generally the best team in South America for a reason.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason they were sparking in the Copa America. Like they could have won the Club World Cup if it hadn't been for that Chelsea game. Like they were genuinely terrible.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
But the Intercontinental Cup final, I'm like, I've seen people saying that PSG are going to win 4-5-0, and I'm like,
against the Flamengo side, two contrasted styles. I think that was the best.
Yeah, it was so good, and I'm like, I don't know how people can say that PSG were going to slap them, but like PSG missed 3 penalties as well. Like Dembele missed a penalty, rare.
Very rare. He doesn't miss penalties.
But so many of their top players miss penalties, and I'm like, how can you claim that they're going to smash Flamengo? I'm like, this is the arrogance of people, and I'm like, it's going to be so close, and it was. Like, it was such a good match. If you haven't got a chance, folks, try and watch the highlights. It's the best club game in terms of. It's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms of. Like, it's the best club game in terms composing teams against each other in a cup competition.
Because Brazilian teams it takes that so seriously, especially when it comes to club like the World Cup time. And like Chris said, people don't watch IT in Brazil football, so underrated. I'm like, it's true because I think that's why I think Premier Sports had to get those rights for both those leagues. I'm thinking there's a reason why we watch the Copa do Libertadores and why it's so successful. The talent's there, and I think if it wasn't on Premier Sports, where would you watch it?
You just have to watch on some sort of stream. But I don't see a lot of Argentinian football. I do try, but I do love watching the Brazilian league. I like to watch Flamengo. I like to watch Santos. I've watched a couple of Fluminense games. I've watched some Grêmio. They're still trying to recover, but every time I watch Flamengo, I'm like, this team. It feels like the '80s teams when they had Zico. This is a team that they're coming for River Plate's record in Libertadores. You just know that if they can keep going, it's going to be so hard to stop them. And bear in mind, Botafogo won it the year before. Brazil the Brazilian league is on a 9-year run of winning the Libertadores.
Yeah, I
don't know who stops the Brazilian league. I really don't. Boca Juniors are screwed. River Plate are screwed. Argentina's juniors are never going to do it anyway because they're shit. But it's wild. Japan.
Yep.
I love watching Japanese football.
Yep. I'm starting to grow more into it more than I have done.
It's still funny though that what's his faces went to South Korea. Ange Postecoglou is managing South Korea. Is absolutely funny.
Yep.
But yeah, Japan. If you don't want to watch the European top 5 leagues, if you don't want to watch the Championship, which again it's up to you, go and watch South American football or go and watch Japanese football, Asian football.
You watch Japanese football on YouTube. That's the best thing. There's quality there on YouTube. You know?
It's incredibly competitive, and this is why Japan are on the rise for international footballs, because they're getting their best players not just in their leagues, but they're getting them into Europe properly, and it's why they're going to go and have a stormer at the World Cup next year. Mark my words.
You heard it there from Reece. Gentlemen, thank you very much as well for joining me today. And like I said, Michael will see you back later on tonight.
You will.
At 8 p.m, which we will watch our highlights. So we'll have Stefan on. Stefan's going to be bloody happy because he's going to have it. So
I know he's going to be double buzzing, isn't he, Wrexham?
I know. So I'll try to be calm, but I can't promise nothing.
We'll save that for tonight.
Yeah, but thank you for everyone for joining us on Special. Despite the technical issues we had the first 20 minutes, we thought we were live, but hopefully this is the last
20 minutes were brilliant.
we do on our streaming software at Evenbooks, because I have got now Streamlabs, so that is going to be going from after New Year, even though I won't be on next Saturday because I have got work next Saturday, but but like I said, I'm hopefully getting in the final bits and teach. Well, Reece uses it. I've got to teach Michael how to use it.
I can help you with all that as well. So necessary. So I've followed that. Just a quick plug for me as well. If you like, obviously, as you can see at the bottom, the weekly steel chair. If you do like gaming and professional wrestling content, that's my own channel as well. I'm live as well tonight for my third final show of 2025. I've got 3 days left: today, tomorrow, and Monday, and that's me. I'm doing nothing else after that. I'm taking a bit of time off. I don't know when I'll be back in 2026, but I'll be back.
Yeah, true. I think tonight's championship will probably be the final show of the year as well. I don't know if we'll do the 20 podcast because depending on Monday. So we'll see how he feels. But maybe Monday might. Yeah. So, but Michael, we'll see you later tonight, and hopefully we'll get some discussions about the championship over the Boxing Day weekend, which was some fantastic games.
And we'll see if we'll get Ant to talk about how shite Leicester have been, or Annie to conveniently turn up like Bristol City won yesterday. So
yeah.
Pretty much, Chris. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I would well sleep in a coffin. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. We'll be able to coffee to 2026. Yeah, I agree. I just agree with that. But thank you for everyone for watching as well. Like I said, you'll see the Saturday show into 2026 next weekend. Unfortunately, I'll be off at work, but you'll see Reece and Stefan be on joining as well too. So we'll be back on here. But we'll be moving from Evenbooks to Streamlabs. That is done. I've got to cancel this subscription for Evenbooks because I'm paying a lot of money for this crap. But yeah.
there's certainly a few things that we can look at together on Streamlabs as well, because I've got it as well. I use like Streamlabs, but I've got like Stream Elements as well, which are just really good. So it's basically the same sort of thing, Stream Elements, but you don't need to use the Ultra. You don't need to use the Ultra subscription to use it.
Yeah,
So
I've
you
heard.
can
So
so Stream Elements, you're just in. You just need to set things up. You don't need to go into a full like. But I link it to my Discord, so I've got Discord and Stream Elements all on one. Then you just link it in.
I've got Discord. I want to try to incorporate that in the near future as well for what the channel is as well. So yeah, it'll be good. But yeah, like I said, this is I will see you guys probably with the slightly show after New Year. So I will be back after the 3rd when I have got the week off from work. So you will see me then. But yes, but
Have a great New Year till then.
Hi, everyone. Have a great new year. We'll see you on the other side into 2026. So, everyone, have a good weekend. Take it for now. Goodbye from us.